they did it so that they run to San Francisco and then run around inside the city limits so they don't trigger some sort of scene. But the part that I love is they have to get the key from the president, and so they go up to the president.
Well,
and
you always have to get the key from the president.
No, I know, but they just pump him full of super stims.
Yeah, and then he dies.
Which is not an aggressive action because it's a healing item, and then they rest for like an hour, and then when they come back, he's OD'd.
Yeah, that was one way that people try to get around the child killer perk in Fallout 2, is they would just super stem the kids to death. Oh. Yeah, that was pretty moralistic game.
Wow.
Some good ones.
Yeah, okay, someone's asking, are the similarities between the canned Van Buren project and Fallout New Vegas intentional?
Yeah, we actually went back to the old archives of stuff that we'd done for Van Buren and just kind of see how, how it could be applied to New Vegas, and that's the reason you'll see a lot of the same named characters, but they're not exactly the same interpretations they were in Van Buren. We took the Mojave Wasteland and just saw how they could be incorporated in there. So yeah, so basically if you've read any of the Van Buren design docs, the reason that they're not actually the same is because they just assumed a different role in New Vegas.
All right. This may be kind of a mean question, but what was your favorite?
Oh, I love it.
What was your favorite odd or funny glitch in New Vegas?
That's tough. The one with the bloodied head or the skinless people that you would talk to, I thought was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I almost wish that we meant that intentionally. We should have created characters that actually looked like that. But yeah, that was probably the one of the top ones. And that and Doc Mitchell at the start of the game with his head moving around like The Exorcist was also pretty awesome.
That was disconcerting.
Yeah.
Sorry, there's a whole bunch of questions.
Hey, Chris, how far in did Van Buren get before it was shelved? Like, what's the story of that? Because I mean, I've only heard sort of snippets of it here and there.
I worked on it for about 3.5 years, just doing design documentation and story. And then once Baldur's Gate 3 got canceled, the entire Baldur's Gate 3 team moved over to Fallout. I worked on it for about 3 more months after that. And then I left, and then I believe it went on for about 8 more months after that before it was canceled.
Oh, seriously?
It's a lot.
Yeah, that was
4 years.
Yeah, it was a good chunk of life just flushed down the toilet. So yeah, that was really good. So when New Vegas came along, I can't really tell you how happy we were at Obsidian to actually be able to resurrect some of that stuff.
I bet.
Wow.
Are there any other games or movies or other media that you feel have had a large influence on you?
There was a lot of stuff that I think factored into Fallout, but a lot of that was actually spurred by the game itself. Like, I did a lot of post-apocalyptic research, like, Road Warrior and, A Boy and His Dog and a whole bunch of other post-apocalyptic films. And I know that when we were doing the DLCs, we did a lot of 1950s science fiction movie research, which was a freaking blast. The Deadly Mantis and Tarantula and the brain from Planet Eros, like all those things. Like, it was kind of a chore to sit through some of them, but doing research like that for a job is pretty amazing.
Just trying to see.
The Old World Blues was nominated for just recently for the
Spike TV.
Yeah, the Spike,
yes, that's very true. We were very, very excited about that. We're like, oh my God, someone noticed.
Well, it's awesome. That's quality DLC. If you haven't bought it, you should go get it. It's really cool.
What game have you played the most? Like, put the most time into that wasn't one of the ones that you worked on?
Oh, it was probably Fallout 3. Yeah, there was like about 60 or 70 hours of that.
Nice.
Which is actually pretty low compared to many other players who played the game, so I feel a little bit inadequate.
I feel like the answer to this question might be getting back to Fallout again. But what would be your dream license to work on?
Wow. So there's a few. One would be Chrono Trigger.
Oh.
The other one would be, oddly enough, The Wire. And the third one would be System Shock. Although they pretty much resurrected System Shock with the BioShock series, but I always like the science fiction aspect.
I agree. I mean, look, I love Bioshock, but I think System Shock had just a little something, you know what I mean? Just a little something that didn't translate fully into Bioshock. Shodan, yeah, well, Shodan.
Yeah, that would be a big factor.
Okay, maybe a big something then.
Oh, a really good question from the chat. What's the best Easter egg you've put into a game?
Oh, good one.
So in Fallout 2, there's a special encounter if you have a really high luck that's called the Cafe of Broken Dreams.
Oh, yes!
And when you actually go there, you get to meet all the characters from Fallout 1 that didn't get a chance to appear in Fallout 2. And they'll talk about your character. You know, you get to meet Dogmeat. And the nice thing is when you actually meet Dogmeat in the cafe, you can actually do the exact same sequence to get him as part of your party in Fallout 2. And then he'll just join you as a companion for the rest of the game. And that was a lot of fun to do.
That's awesome. I loved when they did Fallout 3. That I don't know where it was announced, but it was like it's been stated as canon that Dogmeat in Fallout 3 is a direct descendant of Dogmeat from Fallout 2.
Well, can't you also get that? There's that perk in
Puppies.
Yeah, that's puppies.
There's that perk for Broken Steel where like you can actually have Dogmeat like have puppies.
Yeah.
So like there can be 10 or 12 descendants from him. So like I guess the generation just keeps going. Yeah. As soon as I started Fallout 3, I immediately ran for the junkyard to try and get him. And then I just took him from there on. But I will say the creepiest thing about having Dogmeat in your party in Fallout 3 was that his breathing was so heavy that sometimes you were on stealth missions, like you got this really creepy feeling, and to turn around and see Dogmeat breathing on you was just really just kind of, I don't know, kind of freaked me out.
What side did you take in New Vegas?
Independent.
Nice.
Mostly because I really liked Yes Man, and I was more partial to the voice acting. And you know what? If anyone's going to decide the fate of the Mojave, it's not going to be Caesar, it's not going to be House, and it's not going to be the fucking NCR, it's going to be me.
Nice. Speaking of the voice acting, I didn't know that was Matthew Perry, because I apparently had missed the press release. And like halfway through, like when you catch up with him and question him, there was one line that I was just like, "Is that effing Chandler?" It really freaked me out.
Yeah, it's kind of weird to consider that actually Matthew Perry murders you or at least tries to murder you in the first 5 minutes of the game. There's actually not a lot of games you can say that about.
No, one that I can think of. Actually, several people asking, would you ever consider, I don't know if this is something that you have control over, but would you ever consider a Fallout game taking place outside of North America?
Yeah, actually we get asked that question a lot, and the only barriers to it is that we're pretty much, obviously because we live on the West Coast, it's a lot easier for us to actually do Fallout games centered there and make it feel a bit more authentic. Right. And I think that's pretty much why Bethesda did theirs on the East Coast. So if we were to do one outside of North America, I would want to take a very large extended vacation to wherever the location would be.
Sorry, someone in the chat. I would like to see a Canadian one, because we're in Canada. And in the Pit expansion for Fallout 3, someone asks you, like, are you from the Capital Wasteland or are you from Ronto? And I'm like, where is Ronto? Oh, yep. Toronto!
Well, in Fallout 2...
they also mentioned the Erie stretch and a few other locations that sound pretty intriguing to explore, so I guess they've already set it up.
Was it Fallout 1 or Fallout 2 where you could come across that random encounter where they're recreating the war? You know what I mean? And I think they have squirt guns or something like that. Like they're... Am I misremembering
I actually
that?
don't recall. You know what? I'm guessing that's probably Fallout 3.
Give it a sec.
I'm sure the chat will figure it out.
Yeah.
Fallout Norway, the Vikings rise again. Fallout Australia, we already have animals that kill you.
Yeah, spiders, man. A lot of spiders.
Oh, but my favorite one? Fallout West Country.
Fallout Canada is basically Skyrim.
Well, that's not a bad question. I don't think it's on your list. Someone on the IRC is asking, what's the possibility of a sequel to Planescape Torment? And my guess is licensing. But I'll let you
that's kind of a complicated answer. Because the Planescape license, I believe, is currently held by Wizards.
Really?
But the actual Torment license, I believe, may still be held by Interplay. And the ability to get it out of their bony grasp might be a little too difficult at the moment unless Bethesda wears them down with lawsuits.
Right.
It's kind of the same answer that Tim gave when we asked this.
So yeah, because there's a question here. Is there any chance of you guys doing a spiritual successor to the Baldur's Gate series? And I imagine that's similar Because
ultimately it would depend on what Wizards wants to do with the license. We'd love to do more. We'd love to do another Baldur's Gate game. That'd be awesome.
That'd be so cool.
Yeah, it would.
My very best friend in the entire world loves Baldur's Gate so much that he replays both of them every year just for fun.
Yep.
Aww.
I'll tell him you said that. He might be losing his mind right now, actually, weeping with joy.
Yeah, we couldn't actually figure out why Atari would never actually do another Baldur's Gate game once they had the license, because the amount of fan base for that, and the amount of people that would buy it, I imagine would be pretty high. So, but it was their call.
It's kind of weird. Are there any questions we should be asking you, Chris? I don't know. I'm looking up at the mic like you're God or something. Oh, Chris, are there any questions we should be asking you? Something you want to talk about?
Well, there was a bunch of questions I was going to ask you guys, but then I went on Wikipedia and researched them all, because I had never heard of the game De5ertBus before. So I read through that, and I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. Like, these are the kind of games that game developers dream of making. They're like, yeah, of course. Okay. Why don't you make a game about driving to Vegas and back, but do it in real time?
Yeah.
Like, we joke about that stuff, but the idea that someone would actually make a game like that was beyond amazing.
Well, my favorite part about this is that the reason Penn and Teller wanted to make this originally was because way back they were these weird people had this wacky theory that video games caused people to be violent, and it's really a shame that when this game was being developed that it was a problem then, and it still comes up now, and that's really unfortunate. And so their thing was like, okay, if a game where you're running around firing guns can actually teach you to be violent, well, let's see if other games can teach you useful things. And so they basically made this game as a giant middle finger to that theory, being like, this game is a perfect simulation of what it's like driving a bus through the Nevada desert, and it's not going to make you any better at driving a bus through the Nevada desert.
It might make you want to kill someone, though.
I actually think this game is much more likely to cause...
driving to Vegas and back and keeping on the road actually could be trained to a number of people I know.
It's treating me pretty well. This is insanely boring.
Yeah.
There you go.
Make your own fun.
Well, I heard that different points of the actual ride, bugs will actually smash in the windshield.
Yeah.
Obviously there's the night-day change, which is pretty exciting too. So
yeah.
I don't know. The game's got a lot going for it.
Speaking of glitches, we've discovered a glitch in this game because they didn't test it enough, which is that it's daylight, and then it goes to dusk, and then nighttime, and then dawn, and then nighttime, and dawn and night, and it never ever goes back to day.
Oh, that's interesting.
It's because the thing is, you have to play it for 16 hours before you see that, and for some reason they never did.
No one
For
else
some
has
reason.
ever done it before.
Yeah.
I have a question. Yeah. Chris, I think I kind of know the answer to this, but maybe I'll make it more of an open-ended question. So, what did you think of the fan film Nuka Break? Sort of taking the Fallout New Vegas universe and sort of turning it into a living, breathing thing, not in video games, but this time in film. What did you think about that in general?
I loved it because when you actually work on design for Fallout for a long period of time, you're able to catch a lot of the references that the filmmakers put into the series, like seeing some of the signature weapons actually off to the side as he's going to the merchant, and then the Pip-Boy, and then seeing the bats get called up, all of that stuff. For us at the studio, just makes us laugh out loud, and to actually see that in film format was pretty impressive.
We actually got, to do the props for Zach's gun, we got, there's a couple of outfits.
That gun?
It's that gun. So we actually got the Blade Runner. There's a company called Off-World Manufacturing that makes replicas of the Blade Runner gun, and then I think Zach, so I got those on eBay, and then Zach took one of the triggers off and weathered it up and stuff, because that gun is just the Blade Runner gun. I think it has different lights and stuff, colored lights, but yeah, you're right. It was a lot of fun for them to work on all this stuff. So do you think they did that well? Do you think they got it?
Oh yeah, totally. And you know what? The entire process you just described makes me realize how true of a fan you are. That's going the distance.
Yeah,
I've
actually flown to the off-world colonies and actually gotten that gun back, I'm really impressed.
There's a question here asking if you would consider making a sequel to De5ertBus.
That's from Tim too.
Wow.
I knew they were gonna ask.
I like to think it's in the New Vegas universe.
Well, I've always thought that the sequel to Desert Bus would actually just be coming back from Vegas, but the game actually covers that too, right? Like it's like the entire experience.
Yeah, and it's so like because you do